All of the following are true regarding third ventricle, except the cavity of the diencephalon forms the greater part of the third ventricle. Superior limit of the third ventricle is the anterior commissure. The third ventricle communicates with the lateral ventricle via the foramen of Winslow. Tuber cinereum is part of the floor that lacks blood-brain barrier. Third ventricle is a narrow funnel-shaped structure that lies in the center of the brain. It lies below the corpus callosum and body of the lateral ventricles, between the two thalami and walls of the hypothalamus, and above the pituitary and midbrain. The cavity of the diencephalon forms the third ventricle, with the front of the interventricular foramen derived from the medial part of the telencephalon. Among the other things, the following are worth remembering. The cavity of the third ventricle is lined by ependyma. Third ventricle communicates with the lateral ventricles via the foramen of Monro and drains posteriorly into the fourth ventricle via the aqueduct of Selvius or cerebral aqueduct. The floor of the third ventricle is formed by optic chiasma, tuber cinereum, infundibulum or pituitary stalk, mammillary bodies, posterior perforated substance, tegmentum of the midbrain. The roof of the third ventricle contains 5 layers and extends from the foramen of Monro anteriorly to the suprapineal recess posteriorly. The 5 layers are the body of the fornix, the superior layer of the talocardiae, the vascular layer, the inferior layer of the talocardiae, the choroid plexus of the third ventricle. Superiorly, there is the anterior commissure and the lamina terminalis forming the anterior wall. The median eminence and tuber cinereum, both part of the hypothalamus, is the floor of the third ventricle. These lack a blood-brain barrier and seem enhanced on MRI imaging. Shows the corpus callosum, thalamus, and the surrounding structures. Answer is C, and these are the references.